What's up, Facebook peeps? Give everybody a minute to maybe sign in or not. Again, ADHD, rapid response, had to get online to show you all what I was doing. Not that anybody would want to join at, what even time is it? 7:30 on a Saturday night. Hopefully somebody else has got a life. Me, personally, clearly not. So, as you can see, we're in the kitchen again. A while back, I did a video making spaghetti, I believe it was one night. And I was showing you guys how I use my base that I make and add it to, whatever sauces I want to add it to. Well, tonight I had a mad rush of tomatoes, specifically cherry tomatoes. I don't know if you can see this. You guys can see how many. There's so many. And this is just tonight's pick. I had a ton of them. And everybody's like, oh, you have to use this kind of tomato or that kind of tomato. No, you don't. Okay? No. For a specific flavor that you're looking for, sure. Plum tomatoes work great. We're not that picky. Okay, tomatoes is tomatoes in my house. I mean, granted, beefsteak tomatoes are beefsteak tomatoes, but tomatoes are tomatoes as far as making sauce. Some of them are a little sweeter, some of them a little more acidic. It just really all depends on you and what you want to do with them. But when I have all the tomatoes that I have, I make sauce. And what I do is I just make a base sauce and then freeze it. And then whenever I'm ready to make spaghetti on the night, I add it to, some kind of a jar sauce if I want to. But I'm showing you specifically because when I mentioned that I do the base sauce, you think spaghetti, of course, anybody thinks garlic and onion. I clearly cannot have any of those above. So I don't add garlic and onion to the base. If I want to add that to everybody else's batch in the house, I absolutely can whenever I take it out of the freezer. But I just wanted to give you guys a real quick look to see what I'm doing. I'm going to put the camera around. So here's my tomatoes. Wow, it's funny. It looks really, really yellow. It is not. I promise you. That was very, very red. Anyway, so in the tomatoes, I have my basil. I have oregano. I have thyme. And I have chives, garlic chives, which, by the way, are not really an onion. They're actually an herb. And I grow all of those in my garden. And so I went out, grabbed a bunch of handfuls of all of the above, and my cherry tomatoes and a couple of beefsteak tomatoes that I had that were not quite where they needed to be a beefsteak tomato. I'll show you an example. Little dude. You can see he's the size of my hand. So, yeah, it's just a little itty-bitty tiny beefsteak tomato. With the heat that we had, I'm not sure how the rest of everybody here is doing, but personally in my garden, the heat was too hot. The tomatoes literally stopped growing. We got a big, huge batch that came off, and not came off, but that came upon the branches, and then all of a sudden they just stopped being red and stopped growing in size. So I have probably about 100 probably about golf ball size, a little bigger than golf ball size green tomatoes on my plant that are all now starting to finally ripen, but they're never going to get any bigger. So I added some of those in there too. So it was a bunch of super sweet cherry tomatoes and a small bit of beefsteak tomatoes. And again, basil, oregano, thyme, olive oil, salt and pepper. My trick is I use just a little bit of beef bouillon. I use a specific brand. Actually, I'll show you. And it's funny, I don't actually have the box it comes in because I didn't have room for the box, but they have it beef, vegetable, and chicken, but the vegetable actually does have garlic and onion in it. But other than that, it's called Savory Kitchen, and I can only find it on Amazon. But it is the only bone broth that is not infused with onion and garlic. It's literally just bone broth. Anyway, just wanted to give you guys a show of what I do. So I don't peel my tomatoes. I know there's probably people on here that are going to have a cow about that, but I don't peel my tomatoes. I don't crush up everything because once it comes to a boil, I turn it down the heat. I'm getting ready to put a lid on it. Sorry about that. Get ready to put a lid on it, and then I will literally let this simmer hour, 2 hours, 3 hours if I feel like it. Once that's all done, then I just run it all through a strainer. And that way, a later time, I can add more oregano or more basil or more thyme that's dried if I want, because I have 47 pounds of everything. If anybody needs any oregano, basil, or thyme, please don't hesitate to reach out. I've got you hooked up. But yeah, so that's what I do. I literally I throw a bunch of olive oil on the bottom, throw the tomatoes in, bring it up to a sizzle, and then add my herbs in, add just that little tiny bit of beef broth, and then that's it. I don't add water, I don't add anything else. I just let it cook and cook and cook and cook and cook until everything is pretty much done, and then I strain off what's left of the herbs and the skins from the tomatoes. It's very easy to do. You just put it in a strainer, metal strainer. But anyway, yeah, that's it. That's my quick down and dirty recipe for homemade spaghetti sauce. Once you cook this down for that amount of time, it actually does thicken up. You could always add like a little bit of a slurry of cornstarch and water if you wanted to make it even thicker. Oh, I do add a little bit of sugar to it too. But I mean, it's all about taste. It's all about preference. We don't have a real big preference. It has to be a certain kind of tomato. So when I have excess of tomatoes, this is what I do. So I'll make it in batches over the summer as the tomatoes come off. I couldn't use the bowl that you saw because they're all not ripe yet. So these were all getting ready to be in the trash because they were getting ready to be overripe. That's why I made sauce tonight. So anyway, that was it. Just sharing, once again, sharing with the, restrictive diet and just how I do things, just so you guys can see. So that was all. If you ever get a chance to watch it, just say hi when you do. And yeah, talk to everybody later. Have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy this kind of cool-ish weather here in Maryland. All right. Love to everybody. Bye.